FYI, you can broadcast like up to 8 hours. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing. All right, and so then I've got, that is working on going like, there we go, and I'm just gonna, yay, there we go. Okay, so we are live streaming via the YouTube channel as well as into, and the reason why I'm looking that way is because one, that's the monitor where Cindy is, and then two, that's where my phone is, that's broadcasting into the Facebook group as well. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to watch the training video that Cindy did on Right to Sell. And we're going to be answering questions. I've got some questions that were sent to me as well, so can be doing answering those questions. And whether you're catching it live or you're catching it on the replay, you can be sure to ask your questions down in the comment section, so that way we can get those answered either way. So thank you so much, Cindy, for joining me today. I know that I had a little bit of tech issues at the very start, but I appreciate your patience with me.
No worries.
Okay. So while I'm waiting to see if we get any questions into the Facebook group, let me go ahead and ask some of the questions that I've gotten so far. So why do you want me to start with the problem I solve? And it does. It definitely feels more natural to start talking about why I started my business.
Wow, that is a great question. And the answer is simple. People don't want to know about you until they know that you can solve their problem. So, and I know that it's kind of funny to say that, because a lot of people are watching those Simon Sinek TED Talks that are all about your why, and that your why is what brings the people in. And there's definitely a place for that in social media, you know, to show up authentically and show that you care and you're not just a schmoozy salesperson. But if you think about it, it's like if you're going through the grocery store and somebody says, free cheese. To who? Why? You know, but if somebody says, hey, is anybody hungry for a snack? Well, maybe, yeah. It's an invitation. It says, hey, people with the problem I solve, I'm here. And then the person will say, well, what are you serving? And then you can say, cheese. And it goes a lot better, and it feels a lot more natural to have a conversation about your business that's not just buy for me, buy for me, buy for me.
That's true. That is true. That makes a whole, when you put it that way, that definitely makes a lot of sense. It really does. All right. The next question that I'm sorry, I'm looking over here too to check the Facebook group to see if we've got any questions there. Another question that we got is, what if my business does a lot of things? And we do. We have a lot of us who are, you know, we've got our multiple avenues of revenue, because that's like beat into your head. So it says, how do I know what to tell people so they don't get bored listening to me?
Absolutely. If you have a laundry list of things that you do, I want you to tuck that in under your hat, and I want you to never, ever give it. Never. So what you want to do is find out what the person you're talking to needs or might be interested in, so you can tell them about the offer you have that fits the need that they have. So I have a friend who does 3 different MLMs. And if she announces herself as being, you know, a market partner with all 3 of those groups, people are going to think she's not serious about any of them, and the conversation is probably going to stall out. But if she just starts asking them questions about their lifestyle and figures out, do they need some help with their hair? Do they need help with their skin? Do they need help with vitamin supplements? And then she knows which one of her product lines to highlight. And while that's probably a really extreme situation, most of us don't have 3 businesses, but we probably have more than one stream of income into our businesses. And it's important that we tell whoever we're speaking to about the streams that are more likely to fit their needs.
That's true. And again, it makes total sense, because I know that I, a lot of times, try to like, okay, who's going to be in the room? And that kind of directs where I want to be sure, like what I'm doing with my commercial, and directs my conversations when I'm in the room. So
Yes, I do elevator pitch coaching, and there I give you 3 different strategies to highlight 3 of your different funnels so that you can get there, meet people, find out, if the room is mostly 50-something women, highlight this offer. If the room is mostly millennials, highlight this offer. So absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. That you don't want people to get, like you're saying, bored, or what I've noticed a lot of times too, when somebody stands up and says like the 3 things that they do, I get confused. Like I'm like, okay, I don't really know how I'm supposed to help you, so I'm just going to move on to the next person who I know for sure I know how to help. So,
right.
Another question that we got is, so I'm having trouble describing my product because I'm a coach, so it's not tangible, and that's true. So how do you do a product description for coaching?
I love that question because it's not something that, they're going to pay you money and you give them the thing. You're giving them your time. So I would attach the time that you're giving them to expectations for what you're going to accomplish in your sessions together. So this would probably look like creating maybe several different package offerings with different tiers. So maybe 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and have each one tailored to a different set of pain points. Like for 6 weeks, that would be somebody with a really quick goal, something that you're going to start here, and 6 weeks later, they're going to have their answer. So it would be more conducive to goals that can be fixed in 6 weeks, maybe rebranding your website or something. And in contrast, for 3 months, that's going to be more appropriate for a bigger goal that's going to have more moving parts in it. So when you're intentional about the way you're going to work with people and having that structure in place before you start getting clients, then you're going to be able to communicate that structure to them, which is going to build value in what you offer. So they're not just getting, an hour of your time this many weeks. That doesn't really tell me what you're going to do for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about building value.
Well, it is, and I mean, just the one word that you hit on there, which has been weaving through your answers, but I think is also something that people, and I'm going to admit I'm one of them, who sometimes we are making decisions and things like that and not always being intentional when we're making those decisions. Mm-hmm. And so just really focusing back, and you notice when I'm not intentional, what kind of results are you getting versus the results that you get when you're being intentional. So I think that's definitely, I know all of us always need that kind of reminder. That was awesome. Okay, so the next one that came to me was, I can't think of anything to say once I offer my product. So thinking about continuing to build value. I don't want to repeat myself and seem annoying. It's true.
Definitely. I was in a conversation with somebody I really think of as a colleague recently, and we came to a point in the conversation where she realized that maybe I would want to buy the things she had available. So she kind of told me about it, and then there was an awkward pause. And I didn't really want the things she offered. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And so, I mean, I took control of the conversation and just kind of led us to a different place, and it was fine. But, to think like, how could we do that over again, is when she told me what she was offering, it was not based on a need that I'd already told her that I had. And so, the best example I can give you from my own business is I met a woman who heard that I work with authors, and she says, "Oh, great, I'm writing a book." And I thought, well, great, because I help people who write books. And so I sent her a follow-up email. This was after the Women Helping Women to Network speed networking event last Saturday. And I followed up with her, and I was like, what kind of help might you need? And she was like, well, she's already hired a big box agency to do everything for her. And actually, she probably doesn't need any help. But she was polite and said, well, what do you do? So I told her how I help authors. And I said, if you don't get what you want there, just remember I'm around. But, by starting the conversation by asking her what she might need and where she is in her project, I didn't follow up with something that was straight sales that would leave her going, I've already paid for that, and why is this conversation happening?
Yeah. Yeah, because there have been a couple of conversations, probably more than a couple conversations where I've been in where I'm like, wow, this is not taking the direction that I was hoping it would at all.
Yes.
How do you reroute it? So yeah, I had somebody just ask first, like, what is it that you're looking for? It would have been a much more productive conversation for sure.
Yeah. And that's, again, where you're less concerned about selling your offer and you're more concerned about, does this person need the kind of help that I have?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's one thing too that I know that I did it when I was starting out, and I know that a lot of business owners do it when they're starting out, is that they are so hungry that they're like, everybody's my client. It's like, yeah, no, not everybody's your client. And it's okay that not everybody is your client and that you're not for everybody. Like, that's okay. And so
Yes.
it's a really important message to get out there.
Yes, and no matter how good you are at what you do, you're not the only person that's good at what you do. And just always keeping that humble pie in mind. To get into the conversation like the one I had with the lady that I met, via email, and then keep the relationship warm. So we ended it with, if I find anybody who needs that, I'll let them know about you because you're local and I like that. So, keep the door open.
Absolutely. Okay. So I've got 2 more questions, and I've also got a battery on my laptop that's dying. So it's an awesome day, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, there's no gentlemen there, ladies. It's an awesome day. So the next question that I had gotten that we want to answer is, so when am I supposed to say how much something costs?
This is a great question. I love it. So obviously, people are probably going to need to know how much something costs before they buy it, because otherwise they can't give you their credit card. But the time to tell people how much something costs is not the first time they ask you when you haven't built any value and you don't even know if your solution solves their problem. So here's what I mean. A friend gave me a referral in the Amy Porterfield List Builders Facebook group. And the girl, she's from Australia, she messaged me, and straight out of the gate, she was like, how much do you charge per hour for copywriting? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I asked her, what kinds of copywriting she was looking for. I explained that my prices are based on the amount of time that it takes to complete the work. I gave her some links to some samples of my work that were in similar industries to the one that she was looking for help with. And then when she came back after she looked at the samples and she was like, okay, and how much does it cost? Well, then I was ready to give her a price list because I had built value and she was asking again, so she was engaging with me.
Yeah, and I would say one thing, that's when you're coming to the point of a conversation where you are bringing in pricing and everything, absolutely building in the value, but also the piece of advice that I got early on, it actually came from somebody who turned us down, who decided not to work with us. And I thought, I'm like, I need to know why. And he said, it was your lack of confidence when you talked about your pricing that made me nervous. And so when you get to that point in the conversation, like, be confident. You have shown your value, know your worth and what you have to offer, and say it or have it there, and don't be embarrassed by what your pricing is. Because my thought is kind of like, now at this point, you're embarrassed by your pricing, you're probably charging too much. You know what I mean? So it's like, so just know what you're worth, though. And if you know what you're worth, and like, no, this is what I'm doing, and this is going to bring that value, then stand very confidently in it. So
I agree. And one thing that I use when I'm training the personal trainers for the perfect workout in sales training is, because our packages range from $235 to $495, and if you're 24 years old, that sounds like a lot of money per month. And what I've done with them is we practice saying it's just $40 a month. And for them, $40, it's just $40 a month. And then we say it's just $495 a month. It's just $495 a month. And I'm literally kind of voice coaching them, and getting their body comfortable with saying that amount.
yeah.
And, you know, if you do have something that's a few $1,000s or more than that, and you have a feeling that the person you're talking with can't afford it, first of all, think about this. Maybe they can't afford not to hire you.
Right.
Their business may not even progress without the piece that you offer. So charge what you need in order to deliver that value that the client needs. And then the other thing is, don't sell out of your own pocket. So just because you couldn't afford, just with the example, you're 24 years old, $495 a month for personal training, just it's not going to happen at that point for most of us. But you know, it's not about can you afford it. It's about, does the person sitting across from you need it so much? So when you put it that way, then once again, this is like a recurring theme. It's all about them, not about us.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't make the decision for them. Okay. And so the last question that we've got here is, this wasn't in the material, but how do you come up with a tagline?
Ooh, taglines are so much fun.
I'm glad you think so.
Yes, they're like a little line of poetry. So for taglines, they should be 5 to 7 words. So if you're finding that your tagline is 2 sentences, that's not a tagline. And you want them to be kind of highlight words. There should be an active verb in there. For instance, one client, he's a body sculpting coach, and his tagline is Body by Labello, Ordinary from Extraordinary in 12 weeks. So ordinary to extraordinary in 12 weeks is, I believe, exactly 7 words.
Awesome.
And that from ordinary to extraordinary, that tells you what the pain point is. 12 weeks says just people who want fast results, who are probably, you know, maybe 10 to 15 pounds from where they want to be. And that's who he works with. And his tagline says that without him going into all the ins and outs of who is it for and who is it not for. And for my business, my tagline is helping you put your best sentence forward. And it's very broad, but it's still specific. You can tell that it's about communication, and I'm helping you speak well. And beyond that, I just want you to ask me questions. You know, is this help with writing, or is this help with public speaking? And, you know, it can be both for some clients who need all of those pieces. But I would rather let you ask me and tell me what you need than for me to hit you over the head with my offer.
Right. It's so much easier when you let them tell you. Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to real quick refresh here in the Facebook group, because I think that might be the end of I think that's the end of our questions. So guys, if you're catching this in the replay, be sure to put your questions down in the comment section. Cindy is a member of the Facebook group, so she'll be able to see the questions that you have and be able to get those answered. Thank you, Cindy, so much for taking the time today to do the live Q&A with us. I'm going to answer any questions in the replay. We really appreciate it, and your training was fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. There it is. I was like, where's it? Yeah, I'm down to like 4% on my computer. I was like, crap.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm glad we got through
that.
that.
I rushed you, and I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. If we just went dark in the middle of it, that would not work.
I was sitting here and I'm watching, and I might go dark here on you because I'm down to 2%.
Wow.
So, but just thank you so much. Thank you.
You are welcome.
I apologize for today.
No, it seems like the universe is just a little bit off, but you're going to get your cord. You're going to be back in business. It'll be great.
One hopes.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
the next thing happens.
Exactly. Well, you have an awesome rest of your day, and I know that I will be chatting with you again soon.
Sounds great. Bye, Christina.
Thanks. Talk to you later.